weren't as congested as ours, but
Steven, will you bring the water pitcher over here, please?
whatever.
The water
We're gonna
pitcher?
give it a year and
Got
just
it.
see.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah,
If you hate it, you can leave in a year.
exactly. And I keep getting the notifications for new places on the app that we were using. And so I'm kind of getting a good idea of like what's available year round. And so, yeah, if we like it, we'll stay. If we
Bring it
don't,
back.
I'll just leave it right here.
Okay.
I'm excited though.
Yay.
It's different.
We're gonna be rolling here soon. I got it figured out, I think. We shall see.
Huzzah.
Looks
We
like
might
it's,
run out of beer. I'm just saying.
well then we need to take a break and get more, don't we?
Yeah, just gonna make a beer run real quick since we're kind of on a little brief intermission.
Yeah, if you want to stop now, I was actually
Sure.
ready to start going again if you guys wanted to. Do you want to take a break and get some more beer?
Or
Doesn't matter to me.
not either. We'll go. I say we go a little longer.
Okay.
Okay.
So we are rolling already.
Crazy. So sad. Yeah, crazy. Can I tell them what was on my card?
Yeah.
It was just
And you did
not-
great, by the way.
Actually, not very helpful information in the grand scheme, but like I got it going. It was there's rich people. They're staying at a local inn. They get drunk every night. They'll be easy targets. We've done jobs like this before, countless times. And the weather, fog, is strange this time of year. That's it.
Ah.
That's good. Yeah, you did really good.
You did amazing. No, I love that. I love that. All right. So, getting back into it here. Hope you're awoken by booming thunder outside the carriage, and you're kind of rocking back and forth in the carriage as you make your way.
Her dream.
Are they awake?
As you make your way down, you can wake them up, but they are sound asleep.
I look out the window.
Let's see. When you look out the window, you see that outside the window, thick, ominous fog has filled the dirt path that you're traveling along, and dark rain clouds fill the sky. You're not quite sure what time it is right now, but you think it's around like maybe 10 or 11 in the morning. And so, but the clouds are so thick that you can't really tell what time it is.
And I can't tell where we are based on.
When you look to your right, or look off to the side, you see Castle Ravenloft looming in the distance. Still in the distance, on top of a mountain peak, kind of just looking down at you, almost as if it's watching you. You continue down the path. You make your way across a moss-covered bridge lined with sinister gargoyle statues as the wagon kind of crosses over. Did you guys want to be awake for this at this point? You guys are probably starting to wake up.
I'll wake them up.
Yeah.
Disneyland!
Disneyland. Because it's like probably around noon at this point now. And as the wagon or as the carriage kind of crosses over this moss-covered bridge, the gargoyles almost look as if their eyes are following you. But when you look back, you realize that the statues are just perfectly still, giving you a very creepy feeling. Eventually, the forest clears out, and you begin the steady ascent up the path until you reach two large stone pillars, kind of standing in front of a long, narrow bridge. The carriage comes to a stop in front of these two large pillars in front of this bridge. And on both sides of the bridge, you look down, or you can see from your vantage point in the wagon, that it spans a massive chasm. That you don't know how far deep it goes, but it's probably pretty far. Just then, the fog in the air kind of clears just enough, and then you see it. Across the bridge, a massive black castle looms over you. You look up and you have to move your head just to see the whole thing, just from the sheer size of it. It seems as if the castle continues up forever. And just then, a streak of lightning cracks the sky, and you see a black silhouette standing in a window high in one of the towers, silently watching you. From across the bridge, you hear turning of gears and rattling of chains as a heavy iron portcullis starts to raise on the other side of the bridge. and the carriage continues on.
Wait, we're in the carriage?
If you'd like to be, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I was saying that you never really got out from your vantage point
I'm
inside the
still in there.
carriage.
Okay.
Fuck this
Okay.
noise.
You can see that it spanned a chasm. It's pretty obvious.
Okay.
It's
Just making sure.
yeah. So the carriage continues over the bridge, and you pass through this stone archway. You're now in the front courtyard of Castle Ravenloft. Unlit torches line the expertly laid cobblestone road leading up to the castle entrance. You can see a couple workers tending to things around the courtyard, but they don't look human or alive. The carriage stops about 20 feet outside the large wooden front door of the castle. One of the ghouls approaches the carriage and opens the door. About 20 feet across from the carriage, you see a dark elf with sunken eyes and long gray hair standing stoically by the front door, waiting for you.
Okay, wait, we've exited the carriage at this point.
You are in the carriage still.
Oh, we're in the carriage. Okay, sorry.
The door opened up.
Okay, yeah.
I think of oh God, what's that movie? Scary movie where you come in and live my strong.
Yes.
Like, here.
Take my hand.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I had to lighten that up. The elf scared me just a little bit. Okay, sorry.
This stoic elf stands with long gray hair, sunken eyes, standing in front of this door. There's thunder and lightning and heavy rain pouring down on the castle and the courtyard that you're in. He is standing underneath an overhang, or where the roof extends over the front door, out of the rain.
I'm gonna say this is welcoming.
Hello?
You're so far away that he can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like right there.
No, he's 20 feet away. He's 20 feet away from you.
I need some visual aids. How close are my perspective? I don't know what I'm looking at here.
See this? See that bridge right there?
No? What the fuck?
There's a castle behind Strahd.
Oh, got it. Oh, are we over the bridge yet?
You cross the bridge. You're in the main courtyard of the castle.
Got it. Okay, that's all I needed.
That's Strahd.
That is Strahd, yeah.
Welcome to this campaign.
He's been there the last 5 sessions. I want you to know
I
that.
don't know who the fuck that guy was. Hi, Strahd.
Yeah, that's Strahdy boy.
Okay, so the carriage stopped,
Yes.
and it's 20 feet away from the door,
Yes.
and there's a creepy elf.
Yes.
All right. Well, I opened the door of the carriage.
The door was already open. One of the ghouls that you saw tending to the courtyard out front came and opened.
Fuck. Okay. Is he still standing there, the ghoul?
He's kind of standing by the side of the carriage. Yes.
Ugh. Let him out.
Silent, head down.
I want to really take a close look at this fucking ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to stare into his soul.
He keeps his head down, and you see little bits of kind of flesh on his skin, kind of hanging down. You can see exposed bone in some parts. His clothes are dirty, and when you look at his hands, you see they're covered in black and gray spots and boils. And his hair looks as almost if he rubbed motor oil through it. It's just caked with grease.
Seriously.
You want to ask him how his breath smells?
No. All right. Is it raining right now?
It is, yes. Heavy downpour.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna kind of run.
Yeah, you
run
plop
towards
out?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Just kind of run towards this creepy elf.
Okay.
Little awning that he's standing under.
And the creepy elf says, Morin, welcome to Castle Ravenloft. You are Strahd's honored guests. Call your friends over.
Come on, guys.
I'm gonna get out, but I want to kind of hold my coat over the opening for her.
Oh, okay.
I'll put on my hood.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
All right. Oh, got it.
Nice
So I'm
effort.
not very prepared.
All right.
I want to shake this creepy elf's hand.
Uh, so you walk up to shake his hand, and when you do that, his hand feels cold to the touch. And when you're that close to him,
Yeah, that's all you feel.
and when you're that close to him, you can hear in the back of your mind. You don't know where this sound is coming from, but you hear screaming of people being tortured. Thousands of screams, all at once.
I let go of his hand.
Silent.
I let go of his hand as soon as I start hearing that
Because with
shit.
sound effects. That's fucked up.
And so when you take a step away, the screaming stops.
Fucking God.
We don't hear anything?
You guys don't hear anything. No,
Yeah.
no one else hears anything. And he says, "It is."
Give him a hug.
See what happens.
Just
And-
push it as far as you can go.
And he says, "Your formalities will not go far with me."
Oh shit.
He says, "Strahd sees something in you. I do not know why. I merely see dead bodies."
Hater.
Yeah, me too.
And he kind of gives you a very stern, kind of empty-eyed look. And he says, "Well, we don't want to keep the Lord waiting, do we?" And he opens the wooden door. It's a huge kind of wooden door, maybe 10 feet wide, 15 feet high, studded with little metal bolts and metal trimmings. It creaks open with a heavy weight, and you look in the castle, and you see the grand entrance, which is probably about 40 feet high. You've never seen a room so just vast and big. There are countless doorways and halls leading in all sorts of directions. You can't quite keep track of how many different ways there are to get in and out of this room. He says, "Now come along, let's go." And do you guys follow?
Why not?
Okay. He says,
Is it well lit in here? Are there any
Oh,
torches
yes.
lit,
Why weren't the
candles, or-
torches lit on the bridge?
because
Why
there's
would-
enough daylight. There's enough
In
daylight. They light them.
downpour, in downpour, there's enough daylight?
They'll light them at night,
All
yeah.
shenanigans.
All right. So it's well lit inside.
Yes, there's extravagant chandeliers, candlelit chandeliers hanging throughout this great room. There's sconces with torches burning in them lining the walls.
Okay.
This particular room seems to be very well taken care of. There's no dust on the floor. Yes.
Is it stone or is it rich fabrics and there's a different type of castle? What type of castle we in?
You're in rich fabrics with
Fine.
marble floors.
Cool.
Tapestries.
There's a fucking difference.
Tapestries
Yeah.
line the walls of this
What
great
about
room, depicting great battles
Cool. Okay.
and victories. No, there's something that you see.
Oh, okay, cool.
When you look around, you see there's a grand staircase leading up to the kind of to a doorway leading into the next room. Along that wall above the grand staircase, you see several fine paintings of what looks like Strahd. Now you've seen Strahd before, and these paintings don't seem to depict him in the way that you remember him.
Dead and evil?
He looks very alive. There's a redness to his skin on his cheeks. Next to him, you see another man who bears a striking resemblance to Strahd, but seems to be younger. And then next to them, those two portraits, you see a beautiful blonde-haired woman who bears a striking resemblance to Irina. He continues you on. He takes you through what seems to be a maze of hallways and rooms. Some of them more decorated than others. You see a long hallway with suits of armor. Yes.
Are we well oriented? Do we know where we are? Or are we starting to get lost going through all of these?
Make a perception check. You seem to have your bearings about you. You could get back to the great room if you needed to. You kind of are keeping track of lefts and rights and hallways, taking notes. But he takes you through, a long hallway lined with suits of armor. and a long, rug that spans the entire hallway. Eventually, he guides you into a small room, and he says, "Dinner will be served shortly. You shall wait here until the master calls you."
We will be serving liver with 5 of these.
Nice can.
In this room, you see 2 other people. You see a beautiful young girl with very fair skin, kind of like bouncing up and down in her chair, just kind of like gazing off, almost as if she's bored. And then you see another man who's kind of sitting like with his arms, with like kind of sitting back in a chair, kind of just staring off at the ground.
How young?
The girl, you can't tell for sure, but she looks to be maybe 16 or 17.
Blonde?
Brunette, brown hair.
Does she look like Kristen Dunst? And does the guy look like Brad Pitt?
If you want them to,
'Cause
sure.
That would be fucking dope.
Tom Cruise was also in the...
Is Straw
Yeah.
Tom Cruise?
Fuck it, sure.
Everything makes sense now.
I don't even know how to do like a Tom Cruise impersonation. Like, what does Tom Cruise sound like?
Jump up and down on the
Like
couch
an
right
Right? right? And so the elf says, "You will wait here until master calls for you."
Is
And
there
then-
a fireplace in the room?
Yes, it's
Is it
it's
lit?
lit. Yes, and you
How
feel
close am I to it?
as close as you'd like to be.
Okay.
He's not like handcuffing you or like anything. You're moving about your free will. You're kind of looking around. You can touch things if you want to in this room or wherever along the entire way. And what do you? So now you're in this room, just kind of waiting for Strahd. Do you do anything?
Do the 2 people that are sitting in the room as well notice that we've entered it?
Yes, the young girl has taken quite an interest in you. She's kind of like looking you over, kind of trying to feel you out, but hasn't said anything. The man who's sitting in the chair couldn't care less.
What do they look like? Are they poor looking? Are they...
They're in fine clothing. They're in really good, really nice clothes. New, there's no dirt on them.
I'll go and walk over and sit down next to the girl.
Okay. So she's kind of like doing this, and she's kind of like playing with her hair, like looking around, and she sees you sit down, and she says, "Hi," and she puts out her hand to shake your hand, shake your hand,
I also reach out my hand. The girl.
and she says, "Yes. Where are you from? Are you from Barovia?"
Are you?
"I am. Yeah, yeah. I'm from the village, and Strahd's been letting me stay here. Yeah, I've been here a little while, but I'm originally from the village.
Which village?
Barovia, the village that
Oh.
the one that if you see, you'll overlooking.
Sorry, I assume Barovia is not the big place
Oh.
that we're...
It is confusing. It's probably a mistake not a mistake, but like they should have done better. There's the village of Barovia, which is named after the region of Barovia.
Oh, okay.
So
New York,
Sorry.
New York.
exactly,
Oh.
she's from
Okay.
Barovia.
All the names they came up with, they really...
I know, right? They
I
could
asked
have.
the child, I said, "Where are your parents?"
I don't want to talk about it.
I want to ask to the man,
Mhm.
and who are you?
The man, and he kind of just like looks at you, and he says, "Names are not important."
Am I all right?
They usually are when people ask you for them.
What? What? Wait, what did I say?
Usually they are when people...
And he's just indifferent to you. He just kind of like goes about just sitting, and just
Brad
kind
Pitt doesn't have time for me.
of. Brad Pitt does not have time for you.
Is he armed?
You can't tell. But they
He
didn't.
has 2 of them, Ariel.
Yes, he has arms, but.
I did that move.
Tell me, Dad.
Right? I'm I've been working on my
Right? And you hear the man. He says, "You guys are just Strahd's playthings, just the next in line.
What's that make you?
I'm working on that." And he kind of leans forward, and you can see that he has exposed fangs in his mouth.
You're like, this is the end.
I don't
I
want
kind of back off and kind of just step away from this guy because
I'm still looking at
Fuck that
him.
noise.
And
Yeah.
I say, so you've been afflicted.
Yes.
So kind.
He says, "Strahd has chosen me. I'm to be his second in command."
Your name kind of seems important then. You're like kind of a big deal, you know what I mean?
And he sides with you. Then go ahead and roll persuasion. I'll see. I'll let you roll for this one.
Ooh, you don't like you.
Wait,
He spits in
does
your
anyone want to
direction.
inspire me?
You have inspiration.
I do?
You do,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean. 20! I can roll the
turn that one around. ain't you?
Nice.
I like these.
That is
Never
awesome.
Seen that before.
I've never seen it either. Perfect use of inspiration.
Okay.
Literally.
And he says, "Very well. I'm sure you'll be finding out my name soon enough. It's Escher."
Cool.
It says, "I don't know what Strahd sees in you,
That's rude.
but whatever it is, I suggest you don't stay long. I don't need anybody taking my place."
That's the plan, bro. Trying to get out of here. We were invited here, though. So, we'll stay, but we're not trying to stay that long.
I would advise against it.
Yeah, I heard you. I'm saying we won't.
He says, "No, I don't care for small talk. I'd prefer to sit here and not have to listen to you."
Perfect. Is there any wine in here?
You see, yes, on the table there's a silver like pitcher
Love it. I'm gonna
or
sit
decanter
down and I'm
that
pouring
you
myself some.
yeah, or a glass decanter that you're pouring some wine out into a glass and you're drinking some. And Escher just kind of goes back to sitting on the chair.
I'll let Mopi do his thing.
The girl that you're talking to, she's kind of just bouncing around up and down a little bit still, kind of a little oblivious to what's really what's going on. And she says, "Strahd says he loves me."
Does she look like a vampire?
No, you don't see any signs of no veiny skin or puncture marks on her neck.
How old is she?
She seems to be
Does
about
appear to be?
16 or 17. Yeah. He's gonna marry me.
I'm just gonna.
I ignore what she says and I look to Escher and I say, "Why are you two meeting us here then? If we're just playthings."
He says, "Strahd calls dinners. He likes to host. And usually it's just the two of us. But I think he's looking for some guests."
Did you come here by choice?
Roll persuasion again.
What is it?
And he says, yes, I did. My family was murdered by Strahd. And I took a knee. And I pledged my life to him. And he spared me. Now I serve him in death.
A hard choice to make, I'm sure.
Indeed.
It takes a lot to put aside your pride
And he says,
for your own survival.
my family was weak. They deserved to die if they couldn't fight back. And the power that I have now outweighs any loss of family.
They were weak because they did not fight, but you bent the knee and just accepted his grace.
I accepted a gift.
Oh, okay.
Agreed. That's cool though.
What did your family accept?
They accepted their death like cowards.
This guy's a fucking tool.
Super edgy.
But this
evil
guy's
ass
really into
motherfucker.
fucking Nightmare Before Christmas.
Is your favorite band Taking Back Sunday?
Are there any bookshelves in this room?
Not in this room, no. You do see like tall candelabras, and paintings, fine paintings with intricate frames about. The couches that you're all sitting on are velvet couches with like very like curvy like wooden arm rests, and with kind of gold tassels on like the curtains. Kitschy. And just then, the girl says, and I know Strahd has a new bride, but but I believe
Really love her.
I
He really
believe-
loves me.
I believe that he's going to marry me still. I believe it. I mean, she's just temporary. She's not going to be around long. I mean, look at me. I've accepted the gift. I'm here out of my own free will. I want to be here. She just spends her nights crying in her room.
Have you ever thought that maybe she was just as excited as you at one time?
I don't think that's the case. She's been crying since the day she got here.
How long ago was that?
3 days. Hold on. Day is it? I had that
Feels
timeline.
like
wanna-
so long. It's
I want to give Hope a look, and like say like, I'm gonna cast a message
Mm-hmm.
ooh.
and say, I think that's Irina.
Wow.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he casts message and you hear Morin's voice in your ear, and you can whisper back, or you can reply back, and only Morin will hear it.
Okay. I whisper back to Morin. Duh.
All right.
You grew up your child, yes?
Yes, in the village, down from here. Yes.
No. I would take a guess and say you don't want to talk about your family because, like this asshole over here says, he kills people and just takes people. Whoever he wants.
Yes.
Do you want to marry a man like this?
It's better than living with my mother in the village.
So he did not kill your family.
No, he didn't.
So why wouldn't you want to talk about your family? What's wrong with your family?
Roll persuasion. These people in this room are very.
Is this guy sitting next to her still uninterested?
And she says, "My mother, she's batshit crazy."
That shit crazy Mary.
Oh my god! Holy shit! That was the biggest.
That was a plot twist. Okay.
Holy
Wait.
shit! Okay.
So we still have that doll. Oh shit! Oh
what
shit!
exactly makes her crazy? Crazier than
Fucking crazy.
crazier than Straw.
Can we
She
pause for a second and
Holy shit,
oh,
dude!
shit.
I was not expecting that. I'm sorry if I'm overreacting, but holy shit.
GM should let Devin know what's going on.
All right.
His
You wanna talk
character-
Well, he
about that?
doesn't know.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Literally
he
doesn't
That's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
know.
I'm,
He
I'm just trying to get
Yeah,
information
right.
right now. You
You
guys are
don't
freaking
know.
out. Like, I was just trying to know
So-
what the fuck's going on with
It
this weird
probably
shit.
isn't as big of a deal as
No.
making it, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that to come.
Continuity.
Yeah. Okay.
So she says to you, she says, she was crazy. She feared Strahd. I mean, look at him. He treats me well. He feeds me. He clothes me. He gives me a room to sleep in, and he's going to marry me. Why would she fear him? There's nothing to fear.
I'm gonna pass on that.
Hold on,
You all
out
handle
of
that
character.
shit.
Damn, did she tell us how long she's been missing?
She didn't, but Mad Mary did, and it was a week before you got to Barovia, so she's been there for 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
So, What is dude sit next to her doing? Is he still like whatever the fuck?
Mopey mopey.
Is he interested in this conversation?
He couldn't care less. He's just indifferent to it. He has other things on his mind. I need to take a break because this fucking phone is not working.
Fucking
Should we
phone.
switch like 2 and 2?
Probably. Give me just a sec. It recorded for 26 minutes, so I got a good chunk of all that. What the fuck,
I
man?
think that other mic probably picked me like fucking.
Oh yeah, no,
having my mind
mine
blown.
would have, yeah.
Oh my god.
Um,
That's insane.
come on.
That shit crazy Mary, man.
Weren't expecting that,
I
huh?
was not expecting that 100%.
To be fair, I wasn't expecting batshit crazy Mary either, and I didn't quite enjoy that. She was.
Jesus.
Ugh. Ariel's making friends with her doll. I still nope.
I took the doll.
No. I don't like it.
All
That's
right.
a scary ass situation.
How do I gotta uninstall some of these apps.
Do it.
Mine?
That's on your old phone.
I'm trying to think how to play this now.
What's your plan?
And I specifically chose.
Do your thing.
Okay. Drive. Delete app.
Play this thing.
I wouldn't say anything. Yeah.
Let it play out.
Yeah. I don't feel like this is it. I feel like this is like before it.
We need Bitmoji. All right, I have a gig of free storage. Let's see what happens. All right.
So frustrating.
You know what? I'm also going to restart the phone. Let's just say I'm going to nuke it.
You want to
Why can't?
Hmm?
So
Should we
why
not-
do you use the phones in place? So you're recording. The OBS is on this
Yeah.
device right here.
OBS is on this, which is connected to the computer over there. It's recording my microphone. So mine is the main audio track, like linked to the video, synced with the video. So when I go in to do the audio, because I have to lay your track and their track over like a master track,
It doesn't have like
it helps to have.
Like,
It well,
you would need like a special piece of
I
hardware.
I did that for the first session, and the two microphones we were using shifted.
This bitch is
So it's like, it was
Oh, it wasn't picking up the
Oh,
same
like
level
out of
clock.
sync at times.
out of sync, yes. And so by doing it this way, your two microphones and your two microphones stay in sync always because it's the same one input. So it's one device recording both inputs, right, for each one.
Really strange.
However, if I go in and if I kind of put them through, if I have multiple microphones hooked up to that computer, which I can do, a couple USB mics and this one, it'll record one audio track, but it won't sync them up all the time. And it's so every now, like you'll hear the audio shift from the two different microphone sources, and I don't know why.
You need to get
Probably
your
because it's
soundboard.
USB.
Yeah, soundboard would be nice,
Yeah.
but this works for now. And
it's
Software is not working.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it?
yeah, I know.
Get him a
Instead of,
soundboard.
instead of buying dies that you don't need.
So I have a little mixer, but you need special microphones for it. You need like unbalanced, like mono microphones or something. And I tried hooking these ones up to the mixer, and it didn't work. And I think I need a power source or something. I just need a different
I'm
mixer.
gonna say sound is the hardest part
Yeah,
of any.
yeah. This works pretty well when it's working. So let's see. I just cleared up a bunch of space. Let's see what we got. This one's going like a champ, man. This one is still recording.
Yeah.
So
Hear those crunches.
yeah, those sexy crunches. All right, and it's really annoying because this is supposed to be kind of a high stress situation and tense situation, and I don't want to have to keep like stopping to breaks the immersion. So, all right.